All right, Ryan, so we've got two Aero kits, two different philosophies, both of them high downforce. Simple question, does the Aero kit with the most downforce win, or is it more complicated than that?
It's certainly more complicated than that. At least it is, I think, on our side. We've got so many different variations and setups to look at. It's not just the bits that you put on the car. It's how you adjust your mechanical package to it as well. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's still early days, so I can't really say. We're learning as we go. This is one step at a time. So looking forward to the challenge ahead, though.
Well, I think it comes down to a combination of downforce, but also you have to factor in drag and the cooling elements as well. How much horsepower the engine produces is down to how well it's cooled, and as well as the engine configuration itself. How the bodywork interacts. It's one of the things that Chevy says that they worked a lot on, and you can see it in the installation, is the bodywork is a system. Bodywork, engine, turbos, all of those things. It's not just one element. You can't just put a rear wing on and go faster. You have to put rear and front wing on. You have to make it work for brake cooling as well. You have to make it work for engine cooling, turbo feeding, all of this stuff that's so much more systemic than just a single element.
Well, obviously you get all the numbers for the wind tunnel, whether it's done from the team or from the manufacturer itself, and then that's enough information to understand what's efficient to use. And you've got to come up with a package that you think is best suited for each track. Obviously, when you come into a street course that's low grip, you'll be looking for a lot more downforce and not worrying so much about drag. But when you head to a track, obviously Indy's totally different, but somewhere like Toronto where you got a long straight, well, you're going to have to be thinking about how much you trim out, because now you have a huge window of being able to trim out, a huge window. So, which could mix it up as far as racing goes. It's going to be interesting.
I mean, obviously there's downforce, there's drag, and you need the best efficiency, really. So you need some downforce, but you need to make sure you don't drag your butt down the straightaway and see your fellow competitors go by.
There's a lot to it. It's going to be very interesting this year. I'm super excited because not only now we've got the engine war, but we also have the Aero kit war. So it's exciting. So you may have a car that has more drag, so a little slow on the straight, but has more downforce in the corners. It's always that balance. As an engineer, as a designer, you want to have the most downforce and the least amount of drag to go fast in the corners, fast in the straights. So it's always that difficult balance, and it's actually super interesting because Honda's come up with something intimidating with all those wings, and Chevy has something a little bit more slick, but nonetheless, both kits seem very efficient. I'm expecting to see maybe the Chevrolet will be more competitive at some tracks and the Honda more at some other tracks.
So what people don't realize, with downforce, it comes a little factor called drag. And the drag is actually, for the people at home that don't understand much, is the more wings that you have, the more wind you're going to have facing your car, the slower, the more drag. It's like somebody's dragging you. And that can actually slow you down, but also can cause we can burn a lot more fuel, the fuel consumption. So it's tricky. It's not that simple, nothing comes free. That's what we say. The downforce is good. It's going to give us speed through the corners, but that can hurt you in the straightaway, and also can actually even add an extra stop in the race depending on what level of downforce you have and depending on the windows. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to be a big challenge for the engineers to figure that out.